So do you not move the elf for the day? He stays put in his place?
He stays and observes, and then in the middle of the night.
I see.
But it's
Have you ever forgotten?
Yes. And
I'd be terrified.
Especially if you've had a glass of
wine
exactly.
Like,
in your life.
He's still there. He's still on the fridge. Hello and welcome to SheerLuxe Team Podcast with me, Heather Steele. Today I'm joined by Rebecca Hull, Emma Bigger and Harriet Russell. Hello everyone.
Hi.
How are you, Becky? Not seen you on the podcast for a while. How are you?
Grin on my face. Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be back on. It feels like it's been a while actually. It's nice to be
back.
Sat back on this comfy sofa ready for a chat. Yeah, I'm good.
How are you guys doing? Did you all have good weekends, Harriet?
Yeah, I mean, we watched the football last night, of course, which was great. I think I explained last week on the podcast that I come from like a quite football mad house. So my mum and sister particularly were like, oh, Senegal, they're going to be trickier than people think. Like,
I thought that as well, because everyone was like, oh, we're going to smash it. I was like, well,
Yeah,
they've
don't be
also
so
got this
cocky.
far as well.
yeah, I mean, their star player is Sadio Mane, isn't it?
He's-
But sadly,
yeah.
he's injured. So when that news came through, I think everyone sort of breathed a bit of a sigh of relief. But they have some really good players. Their goalkeeper is the Chelsea goalkeeper. So it wasn't a foregone conclusion. But we obviously, like, after the first 20 minutes, I think played really well.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It was good to watch,
yeah.
actually. As an England fan, you're always just nervous, aren't you? You can never really enjoy watching a game of football. But I think by the time we got into the second half, it was a bit more
You could
like,
relax.
yeah, let's actually enjoy this for once.
I've not watched much of it.
You not? I
No,
mean, a lot of
an
it's on
England
during the
game.
day, to be fair.
Yeah,
a bit
I mean, it's
bored.
all repeated on iPlayer. So I have to admit, my favourite thing at the moment, especially when it's like cold and dark, is go home, you know, probably doing a few emails or whatever in the evening, just sort of let it happen in the background.
Yeah.
It's quite soothing. We in our house we always say it's the green, because apparently green is like a very mentally soothing colour.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, so if you're feeling like stressed, you should probably just have it on like
Some
low
sport
level.
on.
Yeah.
Sport on in the background.
Yeah.
I'm a bit
Well, we
behind.
were saying just before the podcast started, it might be the last time we're pleased to see England do well. I'm not quite sure how it's going to go on
France is
Saturday.
going to be tough, isn't it?
Is that when they're
It's
next
gonna be
playing
a tough
Saturday?
match,
Yeah.
Oh, imagine the pubs. It's going to be
I know.
raging Saturday.
I'm pleased though, because the hospitality industry has obviously been having a very tough time
Yeah.
recently, and I think they've said their intake at the pubs especially is obviously skyrocketed.
Oh,
so
good.
good
Yeah.
for them.
That's really
And
good.
it's an evening match, isn't it?
It is.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
p.m. But France are defending champions. And
Yeah.
they're playing. They also beat Poland 3-0 yesterday in the afternoon.
So
So
yeah, that was also a really good game.
Yeah.
It was actually, yeah, like Poland were, again, it wasn't like a foregone conclusion that France were going to absolutely smash it. So yeah, will you be watching on Saturday, Becky? I know you said you don't
feel
watch
I
it all.
should.
I think you should.
I
Yeah.
should, shouldn't
Yeah.
I? I should get into the spirit. Yes, I probably will. I'll probably watch the one that we lose.
No, we're in like the later stages. You can like get in at the
you can get
end.
into it. So yeah, maybe I'll tune in Saturday. But yeah, I've been kind of enjoying getting in the festive spirit, not the sports
Me
spirit.
too, which is rare for me. I'm usually, every year, Emma, I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for Christmas. I'm a real
Yeah.
Grinch. But this year,
You're feeling it.
wearing some glitter already.
Yeah. Well, you were saying a few weeks ago that you don't normally put your tree up until the last minute, but you've already done it this year.
I have actually, but that's only because I'm going to the Lake District next week, which I'm really excited about. But I realised that if I didn't put it up yesterday, which was Sunday, I'd only end
No
up putting it
time,
up, probably when I usually would, and then I'm suddenly home for Christmas at my parents', and then I'll have only had it up for like 4 days, which seems a
That's
bit
gonna be
pointless.
very,
yeah.
Did you watch anything festive over the weekend?
Do you know what? I rewatched Klaus on Netflix for like the 4th time. Heather and I have spoken about this at length, so sorry for anyone.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. It won an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's an animation, and it's just such a like
Is
different
it a children's thing?
kind of.
Yeah, it's a cartoon, but it's one of those that adults can sort of
really
take stuff
enjoy.
away as
and the
well.
animation's really beautiful. I forgot that when I watched it yesterday. We put it on when we did our tree. But I've also been watching the Wednesday Addams, is it?
Oh yeah, just Wednesday.
Is it just Wednesday on
I saw
Netflix?
that.
I am hooked.
It's
It
Tim
is
Burton,
so
isn't it?
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first watch it, it's very much like Edward Scissorhands
Yeah.
vibe, so you get that straight away. But the cast is amazing.
What's the plot then? Because obviously we all know the Addams family, but
So the plot is it kind of focuses on Wednesday Addams, obviously as the character, and she kind of gets moved around different schools because she's so troublesome. She causes quite a lot of chaos, but she ends up in this town where she ends up helping to solve a murder. So her twisted kind of character and meanness comes into its own usefulness in a way, but I've only got to episode 2. But I just love the casting. I love everything
give it a
about
go.
it. It's different. It's quirky.
Has anyone else seen SAS Rogue
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 Heroes. That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, have you seen it? Has anyone else seen that?
Yeah,
show?
I've seen
Did
it.
you love it?
I'd say 50-50.
Yeah.
So I think Jack Connell's really good. I think
Connor Swindles.
thank you, who sort of plays the titular character. He's brilliant, I think.
He's the one in Sex Education.
He plays Adam. He plays like the main character in this. A guy called David, who is a real person who set up the SAS in the Second World War.
A drama.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those celebrity SAS.
Oh, not that one. I mean, that's fabulous. No, so SAS Rogue Heroes is it's on the BBC. It's the guy who did Peaky Blinders. So it's based on a true story of how the SAS was created, but it's got like really loud rock music in the background, and it's kind of shot in that sort of Peaky Blinders modern way, but it's set.
I think some of the acting in it is brilliant. The story's really like, they've done it in a fairly light-hearted way, and it's shot incredibly. Like some of these scenes, I mean, obviously the SAS started as a parachute regiment, so there's loads of like stunts and jumping out of planes, and you just think, oh my god, how did, you know, the one that goes wrong, I don't want to spoil it, but you just think, oh, how did they film that? I thought parts of it were far too modern. I know what Stephen Knight is trying to do in a Peaky Blinders sense, but every other word being the F word, like, it starts to grate after a while, and you do just think, you know, a lot of these blokes came from like really, really upper crust families, not all of them, but I just don't think they would have spoken in quite that sort of aggressive way. I understand the war like changes people and kind of like formality goes out the window, but it just didn't ring true for me. I thought the sort of central love story had like a really touching ending, but in the middle, when it was sort of forming, I was like, I didn't have the most chemistry I've ever seen on screen. And also, not to spoil it, but she's a spy, a French spy.
I mean, she's introduced as such, isn't she?
Yeah,
so
that's it's part of the premise. But there are parts of it where you just think she would be a rubbish spy, because she literally like lets herself down at every turn, like has absolutely no boundaries. However, something mysterious happens to her at the end, and David Connor Swindle's reaction to it is pretty heartbreaking. Actually, I thought that final scene was really, really touching. It's worth a watch, but I wouldn't get like overly invested.
I enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting anything from it. My boyfriend wanted to watch it, so I was like, fine, and then got quite into it.
Yeah, it's like, it's Sunday night TV, isn't it?
It is.
And it is what it is. It's not as good as Peaky Blinders.
No.
But if you're looking for something that isn't going to demand much of you and is a pretty decent story, then
it's fun,
give it a go.
isn't it, really.
What about you, Heather? Have you been watching anything?
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know if any of you will have seen it or plan to see it, but we had our like girls' Christmas this last weekend, where we all sort of make a proper Christmas dinner, get in our pajamas, do Secret Santa, and watch a few films. And this year we decided to watch Falling for Christmas, the new Lindsay Lohan film that's just landed on Netflix.
Okay, no spoilers, because my sister who lives abroad, we have literally been holding out to watch this film together. But I'd be interested to know if it's going to be a total waste of time.
No, is my answer.
Oh, good.
So my friend Chloe always, like, as soon as these films land on Netflix or wherever, she's always watching it, like, you know, as soon as it's November. So I actually said to her, I was like, no, do not watch it yet.
Hold fire.
We all need to watch it together. The reason I wanted to watch it, I think it was either in the Times or the Guardian, but they did like a little review being like, the acting's terrible. There's no chemistry between Lindsay Lohan and the lead.
Who's the guy?
So Cord Overstreet. Good looking chap. Not bad in this film either, but yeah, it was like a paper thin plot. You know exactly what's going to happen, but this review said like all of these bad things, and it was like, it's bloody great. Like, okay, come on, right, we know what we're getting ourselves into. It's a bit like a sort of Hallmark film, but yeah, the plot, she is basically a hotel heiress. She's in a ski village somewhere nice and staying in her dad's hotel, and she's got this sort of influencer type boyfriend who she's not really that bothered by. He's horrendous. And then they go out skiing, and then she like falls over and bumps her head and gets amnesia. And meanwhile,
Becky's gone, she's out.
Meanwhile, meets Cord. He's got his own sort of authentic lodge that he's inherited from his dead wife. Not to spoiler, you learn that with a lot of exposition in the first 2 minutes. And it's a, struggling business versus the big hotel. And he offers to take her in because she doesn't know who she is. And then,
my goodness.
Love
they
blossoms.
fall in love.
Yes.
Blah, blah,
Heather,
blah.
this does not sound like the kind of thing I thought you would enjoy.
No, I know. But there we go. No, but it's one of the, when you've got like a glass of Prosecco in hand,
Yeah.
you're eating like quality treats, and everyone's like, this is rubbish.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a
It's
hate watch
perfect.
at Christmas.
And then,
Quite good to have on in the background, I'd
exactly,
imagine.
but by the end, we were all like, way. Like, it was-
This whole genre on Netflix has become quite extensive, hasn't it? Of like really, really, as you say, Hallmark style Christmas films.
Yeah.
Cheesy.
I've got something else rubbish but great to recommend.
go on.
Love it.
I don't know if any of you have been watching it. It's on, Harriet, you might have seen it because it's usually on after the BBC's shown the evening World Cup game. It's called The Traitors.
Oh, I have,
I've
yeah.
seen
So
the
I've
trailer.
accidentally seen the first 10 minutes of
Yeah.
one episode. It's Claudia Winkleman presenting.
Claudia Winkleman is presenting it. It's this new game show. It's on like 3 times a week during the week at like 9 o'clock, 9:30, and it looks awful. And it was one of those things that was just on in the background. We weren't paying any attention, but then suddenly the last 15 minutes we were like
all
really
glued.
absorbed. And then that was episode 2. We then went back and watched it from the beginning, and now we're
Oh, really?
hooked.
So what's the premise?
Yeah.
So, the Traitors. So there's basically, I don't know how many people, there's like a vast number, like 20 odd people who don't know each other, and they all show up at this Scottish castle knowing that they're going to take part in a game show and that there's money to be won. Then Claudia comes out and tells them that, they could all win £120,000 if they make it to the end of this challenge, and that they've all got to do various challenges, but 3 out of them are going to be chosen secretly as traitors, and nobody else will know who they are. So at the end of every episode, the 3 traitors get together because they find out who each other is secretly, and they choose to murder someone in the night to kind of eliminate contestants, I guess. And then equally, just before that happens each episode, everyone goes round, including the traitors, everyone goes out round this big round table, and they all have to say who they think the traitors are, and they all have 1 vote, sort of weakest link style. And then whoever gets the most amount of votes gets booted off as well.
Even if they're not a traitor.
Yeah, and they reveal before they go whether they were a traitor or not. If the traitors manage to make it to the end, they'll win all the money. As it's going on, the traitors are then getting really nervous because they're having to, lie all the time. So yeah, it's quite interesting seeing them whenever they get together at the end. That some of them are loving it, like, I love lying, and the others are a nervous wreck and trying not to show it. And they're all interrogating each other like we are.
What do you think you would be?
I think Becky's the traitor, and then Becky, you're the traitor. Like, yeah, me too. Like,
So the traitors having these conversations
exactly,
as well.
with
I would
other
be
people
crazy.
being like,
I'd
who
be
do you think
rubbish.
it is? It's so weird. Like, the traitors have to, when not in front of everyone else, but the traitors have to wear these like black hoods and lanterns to go off to discuss who they're going to murder, and it's just like little bits like that. It's just high camp. It's just like, what is going on? Claudia, I think if she wasn't presenting it, I wouldn't care, but she's just loving it.
Yeah, she must be loving it.
Honestly,
She
she's
apparently
great.
got to choose the traitors as well, and she went round. Everyone had these masks on, and she told the traitors who they were by like going like that on their shoulders, and she was walking around them like you could tell.
God, it's like a messed up version of Duck Duck Goose.
Exactly. It's honestly a bizarre show. But
It
brilliant.
sounds sort of interesting.
yeah, when you just
Yeah.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think when you like just need something a bit crap to watch after
Yeah.
work, and you
Yeah.
don't really want to like.
Tune in too much.
And is it on every day?
I think it's only on 3 times a week during
Okay.
the week, but whenever I've seen it, it's only been because the BBC have finished their football coverage, and then it's weirdly on next. But anyway, a strange little thing, but well worth a watch.
Okay.
There we go.
Great, now we're going to do our weekly newspaper segment where, we've all looked through the Sunday papers, found a couple of things that have interested us, and we will discuss. Becky, what have you found for us?
So obviously everyone probably saw the news that Elton John is going to close Glastonbury next year, and it's his last ever
show.
gig, I suppose.
Ever live gig.
Ever live gig.
I never trust Elton John with this though.
He
He's
did
been on a
this
farewell
before,
tour for like 5
Yeah,
He
years.
he's
definitely
said
did
that a
that
few
farewell
times.
Yellow Brick Road again.
And I think he was actually quoted in the Glastonbury press release as saying, "This will be my final show, unless something really good comes up." You're like,
He'll
okay.
probably sneak up the following year. But it did really make me ears prick up because I love Elton John, and I think I've never been to Glastonbury, and actually both Harry and I were saying last night we're both 30 next year, and I genuinely might try. And I mean, I'm stressed about it already, trying to get tickets for this, but I feel like that would be so amazing.
That'd be such a good thing to do.
And I feel like he's such, you know, I know his voice is potentially not the same anymore, but he's such a performer.
Yeah, that would be amazing
to see that at Glastonbury.
And if it is the last one, he'll want to go out with a bang.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
It's the last one.
If it's the last
yeah, he'll go out with a bang. And it says that there's also Spice Girls, Harry Styles and Arctic Monkeys as well performing. I mean, I'd go just for Spice Girls. But I just think, how amazing would that be?
Oh, yeah, it would be good.
You must have been to Glastonbury more
I
than
haven't
once.
Actually.
Oh.
I haven't. I've been to every other festival going, but I don't know. I think it's the same as Becky. Like the ticket rigmarole.
Yeah.
Just the vastness of the site as well.
Yeah.
I would get too stressed because I would want to see like all the bands, and then like even like walking from one stage to the next apparently can be like an hour.
A lot of people say that.
And also even to get anywhere near the pyramid stage, you basically got to camp there all day, and I'd be too getting like, oh, but I've missed so and so and so and so. I'd rather like see people in a slightly
you'd have to really
smaller.
plan it. One of my friends actually went, and she said you could go to Glastonbury and not see any bands. It's that vast.
Exactly.
It's
I think
completely.
The night stuff sounds amazing. Like obviously it's great that families could go, but I think I might be a bit like, what are you doing here?
I'd like to do a day. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'd
love
like
a day
to do.
festival.
I'd love to do. I'd like to do the Sunday.
Yeah.
And see him round off Glasto. But yeah, I just thought that was quite exciting news over the weekend.
Emma, if you were to go to Glasto, who would your dream Sunday night headliner be?
I'd love to see like Fleetwood Mac.
Me too.
Sad news. That's sweet.
Yeah,
so
very
sad. And also, I love Fleetwood Mac, but I hadn't realised quite how many songs she wrote across
Christine
the board.
McNeil,
Yeah, I hadn't realised how vast her writing was. So it was nice to kind of dig through some of those and listen to them.
Yeah, 100%.
But
So Fleetwood Mac,
I
that'd be
think
number
so,
one
yeah,
for
that'd
you.
be my number one.
Harriet.
I think Cher.
Oh,
Yes.
Cher would be amazing.
Another one who's got a huge wardrobe full of iconic outfits. She could have.
Cher and Elton as a duo.
Oh,
wonderful.
that's a good
dream.
duo.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when Kim Kardashian started to like idolise Cher?
Yes.
And post all of those pictures where she was like dressed up like her
Bob
and stuff with the
Mackie
really
outfits.
long hair. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, look it up because I think that was like when I started to really appreciate Cher's like history and like icon status. So thank you, Kim Kardashian, for inviting us all. But yeah, I just love Cher. So have you heard of this thing about being born under a diva star?
No.
Okay.
Tell us more.
I think I was listening to a podcast with Dolly Alderton, and they were talking about what diva star are you born under. They have this theory that everyone has like an alter ego that they could relate to in like a diva sense, and Dolly Alderton said Gemma Collins.
That would make sense.
Which was a brilliant one.
But would you say Cher then?
I mean, I'd love it to be Cher, but I don't know that I'm cool enough to be born under Cher's diva star.
So what, you have to pick it
Okay,
yourself?
yeah,
Fine.
It's
not
like
who... I was thinking it was astrology or like horoscopes or
Based
something.
on your...
it's complete...
You're Gemma, you're Cher.
No, it's complete like personal choice in the sense of like, who do you think you relate to? Who do you think you have like hints in your personality and stuff?
Yeah, that is hard. My younger self would have wanted to be Christina Aguilera. I used to think she's literally like the coolest thing ever.
She is a proper diva though.
Oh,
she is.
I mean, what are they?
I mean, my sister would be Mariah Carey.
I was going to say, Mariah's got to be up
Mariah's
there,
gotta
surely.
be up there, yeah. God, it's a tricky one.
I know. Ultimate diva.
I think maybe you're an Amy Winehouse type because you do like bold makeup and you're very into music. And
yes. People forget now, don't they, how amazing she was because they just sort of
Her
remember
voice.
the later years rather than the
I think there's a
beginning.
documentary on her coming out. Is it next year?
Yeah, there's already been 2, but there's a third, a different one. But yeah, I think that'll
Is
be
that the one her parents are making?
potentially because I think they probably feel like they need to tell their side of the story.
Well, her father gets very demonised, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he does.
Yeah.
He does quite a pushy parent by all accounts.
Yeah. Interesting.
Whitney, she'd be a good diva.
She'd be a brilliant one.
Excellent diva.
Great, love Whitney.
Madonna. She's
yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe a few years ago.
No,
maybe.
I'd say Madonna. I think she's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to age gracefully.
No.
I love her.
Yeah, I like Madonna.
Yeah, she's great.
What have you got for us, Emma?
So I find this in the Observer, and it's kind of on the back of the whole census and how half the country, or less than half the country, are now Christians, and It's about, do we still value Christmas traditions? Like, are they being replaced with other ones like the Elf on the Shelf? And basically which traditions are important in today's society. So I thought that was quite interesting. Like 46% of young people have never sung a traditional Christmas carol. Which
I
That
find
blows my
that
mind.
That is wild.
insane.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
think
took
that
carol
they
service
sing
on
them in
Friday.
school and at, like
Yeah.
carol services.
Yeah.
And
I
then
find
it
that
said
sad.
46%.
Yeah.
47% don't know what like midnight mass is, and so I just thought it was quite interesting to see like the move away from probably when we were children.
Yeah.
Like it's totally different.
Completely.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But yeah, what kind of traditions do you do as a...
Oh, I know. The thing is, I actually said before this, I love traditions, but then I was thinking, what do I do? But we do silly things like Christmas Eve. We'd always go for dinner, or it's things you kind of stick
Like
to
family
in terms of,
traditions, yeah.
family
Do you ever go to
traditions.
church, like, ever?
We did when we were younger, but I haven't. I must admit, I can believe the latter
Yeah.
statistic because we haven't for a long time. But I would say I'm not religious, but when we did go, it was a very nice, festive feel.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more of an experience,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's more of an experience, but I must admit, maybe we have moved away from traditions a bit. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's a bit lame that my one tradition is going for dinner Christmas Eve.
That's still a nice
Yeah,
thing to do,
sort
though.
of.
But it's something we sort of stick to as
Yeah.
a group, and no one can deviate, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't drop out of it. So
You've obviously got children. Elf on the Shelf. Where do you sit with that? Because I've seen quite a lot of not backlash, but the last couple of years, parents being like, "I just can't be bothered to do it anymore."
Yeah, no, we still do it.
What is it exactly? I don't really,
It's-
because I don't have
yeah,
kids.
It's
so-
basically you get this elf, and every night you change the position in your house. So then when the kids wake up, they're like, "Oh, where's the elf?"
Because they
and-
believe it's real.
Yes, and
Okay.
the idea is that the elf is watching for like behaviour running up to Christmas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's what I say, and it works. And then he reports back to Father Christmas.
Oh,
that's,
useful.
yeah, it does come in quite useful.
Interesting.
But my eldest is at the stage where he's asking lots of questions, which is just heartbreaking.
I do remember one year wondering why Santa and Mum and Dad had used the same wrapping paper. I
yeah,
thought that was
yeah.
quite the
you
coincidence.
got savvy.
Yeah, that was very good detective work.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Hold
kind of, but I just used the same paper and
Yeah.
hope for the best. It's like, they won't know that.
So do you not move the elf for the day? He stays put in his
He
place.
stays and
then
observes, and then in the middle of the night.
I see.
But it's
Have you ever
such a-
forgotten?
Yes. And it
That
is
I'd
such
be
a commitment.
terrified.
Especially if you've had a glass of
Yeah,
wine
exactly,
or something,
like,
you're like,
He's still there.
He's still on the
Yeah.
fridge.
So one time last year that happened and we forgot to move it, and you just have to, obviously make
Style
up
out.
like, oh my goodness, he must be really tired, or maybe he needs another night in that spot just to make sure the
Aw.
behaviour,
That's amazing.
So yeah, we still do it, and yeah, I think we'll continue to do it.
Yeah, why
I
not?
mean-
If the kids are enjoying it,
Yeah, and
and
you
it's
can't kind of just stop, because then
That's
they'll
a
be
good
like,
point.
where's the elf on the shelf?
we're going to run riot
Yeah,
this year.
exactly.
Harriet, what about you? Traditions?
Yeah, I mean, there are no little ones in our house, so it's not a sort of elf on the shelf type situation. But yeah, we have loads of like family things that we always do. So my poor sister, my birthday is on the 7th of December. My mum's is the 22nd, and my dad is the 2nd of January. So poor Sophie has to
wow.
buy presents for like everyone twice over. But it's nice because it feels like we've got all these other celebrations
That's really
happening at the
nice.
same time. So I think my mum's birthday is always like the official kick-off to Christmas. Like that's usually when I take time off and
Yeah.
my Christmas holiday starts. We always tend to have like pizza with our friends at some point, whether it's Christmas Eve. We always watch the same film on Christmas Eve, which is White Christmas, an absolute classic.
Aw.
Bing Crosby, and Rosemary Clooney, who is George's aunt, if anyone's interested.
Fact fans.
Interesting fact.
Yeah, and then Christmas Day, I mean, my sister's an amazing cook, so she pretty much takes over. It's all like quite low key,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's always the same routine. I find it very comforting.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Especially, the same film. That's
Yeah,
a good thing
literally.
To do.
It's
And-
kind of what Christmas is about
That's
as well,
nice.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Slipping into a
Does
slight
anyone go
routine.
to like carol services?
Yeah, so we always do that too. So there's a local school to us, which is actually quite a famous school. It's Charterhouse, and not many people know this, and I probably shouldn't be broadcasting it, but they open their carol service up to the public. So it's the school's carol service, but like anyone can go if you want. And I've been going for years, so yeah, we did that on Friday actually. That was like
nice. I was gonna say,
nice
surely that
kick-off.
kicks it all off.
Yeah.
Like, right, we've done the carol service.
Because that's quite an impressive school, so it must feel like
Quite epic.
Yeah.
their chapel.
I was gonna
looks
say, I
like,
bet they've got their own chapel. Or...
I would
Yeah.
love to do
Yeah.
that.
It's really atmospheric, and so yeah, that always sets it off. And then we
Oh.
tend to do the tree in the same weekend.
Yeah.
Ball starts to roll, doesn't it?
Oh, that sounds nice. I love a Christmas carol, but I haven't been to actual church for Christmas for a really long time. But I do always like to watch carols from Kings.
Yes.
Christmas
which
Eve,
is
yeah.
always on Christmas Eve about 6 o'clock, I think
Yes.
it is.
God, that is nice. You just turn it up really loud.
Yeah, exactly. Get a Christmas cocktail on the go.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
Really
no,
nice.
I like a bit of that. Right, as you all know, the SheerLuxe community has launched, which is a part of the SheerLuxe website where you can ask us any questions you want and we will answer, and other readers can answer your questions as well. But we just thought we'd pick out a couple of key ones that have come in over the weekend just to see what you guys had to say about them. So first of all, Emma, I'm looking at you here. White shirt recommendations, please. Specifically, one with good cuffs.
Well, my go-to for white shirts, white t-shirts is always COS.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think you can go wrong. And they always have, especially for white shirts, they have like 3 styles. Like, one might be oversized, one might be, you know, a bit more fitted. But I think they wash really well, and they just have a good basic white shirt. So that would be
That'd be your pick.
my pick.
Becky, I'm trying to think if I've seen you in a white shirt.
I don't really wear a white shirt, but I would probably go to And Other Stories or Arquette,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Also a good option.
If I was going to
Yeah.
wear a white shirt.
If I would also go Arquette or COS. I've got any white shirt I have got is always oversized, like looks like it's the blokes but not too big round the shoulders, and Arquette and COS. Harriet?
I suppose it's a bit more investment, but with nothing underneath, I think do really good shirts.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Really nice quality. Like I say, the price point's a bit higher, but if you are a shirt person, and I do think shirts are one of the most versatile things you can own. They do, as well as white, they do loads of other like really classic, nice designs. So yeah, probably them.
I'd also obviously go Ganny and get one of the massive collared ones as well. If that's your thing, you like a bit of embellishment. And then, this is a fun question on our community. What are the best board games for families?
We love a bit of Cluedo, which
Nice.
I know
I was
matches
about to
my.
say that.
But we love it.
It's
and
so underrated.
And when we were kids, like my brothers used to always, lie on the rounds, and it would just, you'd end up playing it till like midnight. You wouldn't know who the hell has got who. But I just don't think you can beat it. It's so fun, and yeah, they should make a little movie out of that. I think Cluedo.
As part of my girls' weekend this week, we bought Dragatha Christie, which is a RuPaul's Drag Race
That
theme.
sounds amazing.
But you have to play the characters, but I had to be the host because I was reading the instructions to myself, and it was like, only you know this. I was like, okay, I'm hosting then. But it was really fun. Like, you had to pretend to be different characters, and again, there were like clues you had to hide around the room when no one was looking. You had to create a body under pillows and a sheet. Like, it's quite immersive.
Quite a commitment.
It was, but it was essentially
Especially if
Cluedo,
you
but a
don't-
slightly more
Yeah.
involved update on it, which I thought was actually
How
very, very fun.
Oh, I might look into that.
There we go. If you like Cluedo and Drag Race, win-win. Emma?
Well, growing up, we always at this time of year played Trivial Pursuit,
Oh,
and
love it.
I just have such memories of like my parents having people over for drinks, and then somewhere along the line, Trivial was always played, and so we recently bought the kids' questions,
Oh, it's
and
such
then
a
we
good
put the
idea.
adults. So we're just gonna try and play that as a family.
There's so many themed ones now as well,
Oh,
aren't
yeah,
there?
yeah.
It's, I like that. Sometimes if I'm in a pub that's got board games and me and my boyfriend are there with a pint, we'll sometimes just grab it, but just do the questions.
Yeah,
we won't play.
yeah,
It's
that's
like,
good.
whoever
Yeah.
wins, wins. I usually don't win, but I give it a good go.
Give it a whirl.
Harriet?
I mean, you can't go wrong with Double. It's a
Oh, I
classic.
still haven't played that.
Heather.
I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
What is
So
it again? I
good.
always forget.
It is so addictive. So, I mean, it's basically like a slightly more elevated version of Snap, except instead of like one picture on a card that you have to snap, there's like 10.
Oh, God.
So, and you can snap them with any picture, but the way that the cards have been designed, all the pictures are like different sizes, and then they all change on cards.
Oh.
So, like, it's like an optical illusion. Your brain doesn't register that you've actually got a match.
Oh.
And the number of people I've played with who are like, stop the game, I do not have a match.
Yes,
like, this isn't fair. And then you look and you're like, you've got a son.
Oh, wow.
And it's like,
It's so easy not to see. It's so weird. Like, you can actually not
What's
see
it called? Sorry.
Double. I've heard of it. But
They have themed ones. So we have normal double, we have Harry Potter double.
yeah,
have
that's
Harry
where I
Potter
think
double.
I've seen, the
And we
theme.
have Star Wars double.
Yes. Oh, I'd like a Star Wars
The whole
one.
set.
Which is hilarious when you're playing with people who like aren't in the fandom because they're like, what the hell is this winged thing?
Yeah.
And they all make up their own names for it. But that, I mean, it's a classic. People in the office know that I was stranded in the Florida hurricane back in September, and all our power went out, and so yeah, we whiled away the hours playing Harry Potter Cluedo and Dobble.
There we go.
There we go. Two great
Amazing.
recommendations.
I've got my eye on the Godfather Monopoly set.
Oh, wow.
I watched them all last Christmas, all the Godfather films. I shockingly hadn't seen them. They were excellent. But yeah, I like a themed Monopoly when you're trying to like win things you actually like and know rather than this sort of slightly outdated London one, I'd say. Good recommendations, everyone. And finally, we've got our reader questions that people kindly sent in on Instagram. So I think we'll all probably say something different for this. So I think it's a good question. Somebody is looking for a good everyday bra. Harriet, I'll come to you.
So the one I'm wearing right now is from the Body range at M&S. So I was a Rosie for M&S devotee for years, and still am to some extent. The only thing I'll say is that they don't wash particularly well. Obviously the quality is great for what it is, but like over time it's quite sad to see these like nice sort of silk satin bras like not holding up. When the sort of Skims revolution happened, I feel like M&S took a sort of similar approach and started doing these quite sort of basic styles, these body styles, and the best part is they do them like the nude style now comes in like 10 nudes, so it's like nudes for everyone, which is so much better, and I just think they're the most comfortable things ever. I'm really picky because I have quite big boobs, I have to find like a t-shirt style that doesn't have any extra padding because I'm lucky enough not to need it. But I still like a moulded cut because you don't want pokey nipples. Who wants that?
And you don't want a massive underwire.
No, because that's uncomfortable. I mean, I do sort of live in an underwire because I just have the size of boobs that can't be like hoisted up without one. What am I going to do? But yeah, so I am fussy, and these are brilliant. And I think they're about probably like 17 to 20
Oh, that's not bad
like
at all, because sometimes I think really good quality bras can come with the associated
me,
price tag.
I've done it all. I've gone the Rigby and Pella route, and I've gone the like Primark route. And to me, I know it's a boring answer, but M&S is like unbeatable.
But it's good to have a specific range to recommend as well.
Full body.
Emma?
Well, I'm quite picky also, but I can only wear like a really soft bra, like a really simple triangle kind of, I mean, very basic. So I usually go to like H&M or Marks and Spencer's. So yeah, that would be my rec.
Yeah. Becky?
I'm exactly the same. I go to H&M for underwear all the time.
All the time, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've
H&M, I do also rate M&S.
Yeah.
But I've just recently got into getting things from H&M.
I mean, the sizing at M&S is probably the most inclusive as well. So yeah, it's. I'd still think like big boobed women are chronically underserved in the market, and it always feels like you have to go to like
Bravissimo's the one that's
store,
on
which I hate.
Yeah.
It really drives me up the wall, and I'd get on my soapbox about it more if I could.
Has anyone tried Skims before?
Yeah, I'm addicted.
Because I haven't, and I want to make the commitment because
I haven't tried their bras. Most of them, she's just actually released the underwire style for a long time, came only up to a double D.
Right.
That's surprising she only went up to double D.
Yeah, well, considering the brand is built on this like inclusive ethos, it did seem like a bit of a misstep. Anyway, she's corrected course, and she has now expanded the range. But most of her bras are like soft triangle styles.
Yeah.
So if you have smaller boobs, like you're going to have a wealth of options there. And again, the shade range is really, really inclusive. But I have to say, everything else I've tried for the brand is just absolutely exceptional.
Okay, yeah, I need to get on there.
T-shirts, underwear. Like, if Charlotte's watching this, she'll know that the only thing is they don't do like a bright white in anything, which can be a bit odd. Like when
you don't want that under a t-shirt.
Like you don't realise how much you actually need bright white until you can't get it. I think their version is like marble, which is much more of a cream. But literally, I've had t-shirts, pajamas, underwear, everything, and there's not one thing that I've sent back.
Amazing. And then finally then, Did you guys get anything good in the Black Friday sales, Harriet?
You're coming to me because I've already whinged about this morning. But basically, I was really resolved this year not to get involved in Black Friday particularly. There wasn't anything I massively needed, and I was just going to keep an eye out in case any of my gift ideas went on a massive discount. Black Friday rolls around, I get FOMO. I'm like, oh, I've got to take advantage of this.
Just got caught up in it all.
Yeah. I got some beauty bits, which I think is always like quite a good shout actually.
Yeah.
Because
do you agree, Becky?
Yeah, I think so, because I think you're not going to kind of regret that.
No.
you get your regulars discount.
Yeah,
What's the harm?
Yeah.
But clothes wise, I did feel like some of those purchases were a bit unnecessary. I'm normally really, really like someone who takes 6 months to decide whether I want something or not, and for some reason I really jumped the gun.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Emma?
Well, surprisingly, you'd think that I'd be all over that, but I'm not a big Black Friday. I never do like New Year's sales. I think I know the things that I want will never be in the sales.
Yeah.
So then I just kind of avoid them. But I did, like you, I did get a little bit of FOMO.
Yeah. Becky, what about you?
I don't really. I mean, I get why people, especially this year, would want to look at Black Friday, but I actually read a piece on the BBC News that was saying that while it's good, some of them aren't actually very good discounts, and it completely put me off, because I think we were looking at sofas and all sorts, and then I thought this is just like panic purchasing. So
homeware's quite a good one.
Homeware is a good one, but then I think if it's such a big investment, I'd rather wait and just make sure it's the right investment.
Yeah, and don't rush it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's great if you know what you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like say beauty stuff, home stuff, or like even a fridge or anything like that. If it's something you were going to buy anyway,
something you've had your eye on.
Then I think it makes sense to be like, well, we might as well get it with 30% off. Or something.
I just found this year that a lot of that stuff didn't actually get
the
marked
stuff
out.
I wanted didn't.
Yeah, a lot of retailers are trying to scramble and like preserve their margins this year, which is totally understandable. So I felt like it wasn't as good as in past years, and I was sort of participating for the sake of it a bit.
I think you're right though. I think it's a good thing to have. You've just got to approach it wisely.
Exactly. My sister doesn't listen to the podcast, should do, but doesn't. But I can say that, I got her some Miss Soma earrings that she really wanted, and they were 30% off. So it seemed a no-brainer to do so.
That's the thing.
I did partake.
You did partake, but a good partake.
There we go. Well, thanks, ladies. That was excellent. Lovely talking to you all. And thank you for watching and listening. If you have any questions for us, please do email us at podcast@SheerLuxe. We love hearing from you. And please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.